All right, we are back. And we are very close. We are very close to the end here. We are going to be finishing up this page quite quickly, hopefully. And then we are going to go on to this page. And this page should hopefully also be pretty quick. Hopefully. We'll see. It's not terribly complex. So but first things first. So the only real thing we need to do with this page is touch up this lighting here. I want to kind of push it out a bit. It'll be this. So what we're gonna do is are we on the right? Yeah, we're on the right position. And we're gonna kind of try to like push it back and forth a little bit. I might go with something softer. I don't know yet. Yo, what's up, King Bob? Also, what's up, last name? Good to see ya. It's funny that I still call you last name, but that's how I know ya. Okay. And now, so kind of the goal I want to do here is a little bit more of, yeah, actually, hold on. Let's try this. Kind of a problem with a lot of different blending. We're gonna need something more blendy. Give us the texture that we're actually really after. So what do you say to that, King Gog? Are you indeed a merry old hob? That's better. That is much better. It's far more interesting looking and makes more sense. There we go. I'm wondering, where's the cast shadows? Let's try something here. So it's kind of this pinkish red. So if you look, let's try more of a seafoamish green here. Saturation. More saturation. Back a touch. What's that? Or we keep it as the purple. Or we find something in between. then it just matches kind of the area around it, which does make sense. But if that's the case, so what I'm thinking about is how would this light react to its surroundings? Are they about to go into the Stargate? Not quite. Not quite a Stargate. This is important, though. It's actually very important, but not in a like direct, direct sense. It's meant to be thought about. What could it mean? It does have a purpose. I'm not doing that because I'm lazy. Entirely. Okay, maybe just a little. Oh, no, it's funny. Fun fact, I've actually never seen all of Stargate. I've seen a handful of episodes here and there. A friend of mine watched it. He said he really enjoyed it. Might be worth giving it a look. Okay. Okay, now let me ask the really important question. Is there anything else I really want to do? Is this enough? I maybe want to give a little bit of light. Just a little bit of light to this by way of this. So let's... Definitely not that much. Hold on. Let's try lowering the opacity like way down. Well, let's just see what happens if we do this. Not entirely the effect I want. Yeah, let's see what maybe we can do it by hand. Wait, hold on. I almost like that. I'm actually gonna push this a little bit more. Oh shoot. little bit more subtle, though. Yeah, we'll go with that, and then we'll do all of you guys. Okay. Dang it, I always do that. I probably should. All right. Yes. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to call that there. And move on to this page. So now, let's start with the background. And we need to figure out... Okay, so this is going to be easy. Actually, I can just do this. And go here. It's the same color as sand, so... The wall, I already have a color for as well. And we are going to deselect the panels as well. Oh, wait. That's not going to work. How do I want to do this? Tell you what. We're going to do it this way. So do that, and then we're going to color this back in. That. And can I just select the line work? I might be able to. Or even like in context. There we are. And there we are. That was the wrong color. All right. Here. Thank goodness I was smart enough to make this a different color than that background. That's gonna be annoying. Let me just touch this up real quick. Okay. Now let's do the sand again. And complete the line. Should be good enough. That's that. Now, I think it'll be fine to just have that. That will be fine. I'll give some space there. I may actually, in another pass, go back and retexture some things. slap a texture on some stuff because I think that would really help. Like a nice stone texture on this would make it look really good. Okay. And this light will shine on there. Okay. Okay, so now we have the darks and the lights. What is all that? Hold on. That is nothing. Let's get rid of that. We don't want no space ants. Okay. So darks, of course, pin light. And we're probably going to do a double light setup. That's kind of an interesting thing with light, is that you can have multiple degrees of properties of light, right? So, for example, within this, we have actually two lights. We have the ambient light, which is within the layers right here. Mobile can't see it. Oh, hold on. If I bring it over, and they still can't see it. I've got to get that set up there. Just trust that there's a layer there. Actually. So we have lights and darks, and then if we look, then we have shadows. And the shadows actually were a block, kind of a reset for the lighting. So you have the ambient lighting, right? But at the same time, they're like in shadows of that ambient light. That ambient light, of course, being the light from the outside that's kind of illuminating everything else. You want to see the layers? My guy, you're on the friggin' main desktop. You can see the layers. But so that's kind of like a reset. Now we have a second light source, and that's where this comes in. And so you'll notice that I added another gradient pass over. So we have one gradient pass here. You can kind of see it. And then a second gradient pass that comes from the direct light source. And so what that does is it layers up and it makes it look a little bit more natural because now both of these light systems are working in tandem. And then, of course, I stripped back the shadow where the shadow would be taken away by that primary light source. But if I just turn off the secondary light source, then it's not as strong as I want it to be. Not taking you seriously, no training well. I didn't need no training, man. I freaking teach high schoolers. So that's basically my thought process is I'm thinking about what are the degrees of light, what are my light sources, and a lot of times what you'll have is kind of a universal light source in the form of an ambient light, right? Because if you have like the sun, right, the sun can shine a lot of different places, even if there's no direct like sunbeams coming in. There, it's such a bright light that light is going to bounce, and there's going to be a ton of energy, and it's gonna find its way in eventually, right? Except for the really tight corners, which is where you get ambient occlusion, because you just can't get there. But then, of course, you have your secondary light sources. I have another light source in the form of my lights, right? And that's competing with the sun. That's competing with the ambient light. And so that's kind of a balancing act. So you don't want to think of light as being like one or the other all the time. I do, like this story primarily is that. I don't have a lot of separate light sources. It's kind of funny how that worked out because... because obviously the characters are like blind is obviously blind. She can't see, so she doesn't really. She for the longest time she hasn't had a need for any kind of external light source. And actually, the same goes for this character. It's a little bit of spoilers for the dialogue. Yeah, I kind of am a silhouette, aren't I? I like the drama of silhouettes. Also, I'm looking for more Lorne. I want to listen to more Lorne. Let's do Ask the Dust. I think I can do Ask the Dust. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, so point being. Also, what's up there, Breath? I see that you're on the mobile side. Point being, this is one of the few instances where I've actually had to really consider multiple light sources. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, let me go and turn this off again. You can notice that this would work for more like maybe like a flashlight or something like that. This would be okay, but I would still probably want to like boost the brightness anyway. And so that's where this comes in, where I can give it the color, you know, the temperature and the color and everything like that to make it look appropriate, because it's a very red light, right? So yeah. Anyway, okay. So that page is done. We can move on. So that's, again, the whole point of that is I need to keep that in mind while I'm doing this. When I do the lights and the darks, I'm going to use the same method. So lights and darks. This will be the ambient light. So that's what I'm building right now. And this style. Oh, great. Hold on. I might be able to. What the world is. Boy, yeah. This is. Wait a minute. Oh, it's in context. Oh, hold on. I know what's wrong. It's just the one there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Better. Much better. All right. So I'm going through and I'm saying, okay, here's the ambient darks. And this style is very simple. I keep it very simple. Let's say more light is coming from the back here. This needs to be add glow, actually. So there's that. And then same goes for the suit of, actually it's not a suit of armor, it's an automaton. Maybe both, I don't know. And then, of course, make his head all shiny. Full-length stop-motion project over on the mobile side. Breath of the videos over there. So I'm working on the sets right now. That sounds awesome, dude. Full-length? So, wow. So when you say full, you're taking, like, feature length? Because that's pretty crazy. All the effort. It does take quite a bit of effort, but at the same time, once you develop your method, like it's a lot of the same stages, a lot of the same steps. Especially when you have a more simplified style of doing the lighting and everything like that, it's a lot more straightforward. An hour? Dang. I appreciate that, there, Breath. I've been trying. Wow. So you're trying to do an hour-long film, stop motion. Well, good luck on that. That's ambitious, and I like to hear it. That's awesome. Stick to it. That's the key. Funny enough, I actually just watched an animated short, not short, actually a feature-length film that was animated by, I believe, like 2 guys in Japan called Junkhead. Came out in 2017. Very unique, pretty funny, very bizarre, just out there. I actually really ended up liking it. So can be done, totally can be done. You just have, it's all about being real with yourself, all about being realistic. Actually, I'm gonna close the gap. I don't want that. Ammo sulfides, full story. Dang, now that's really ambitious. darks over this way, lights right here. And the big thing that I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of the darks and the lights and everything like that is contrast and making things stand out, not necessarily realism in this style. It's certainly kind of a surreal thing. But that sort of gradient effect, that very light gradient, gives me a little bit of a roadmap of where I want the lighting to be, as well as a little bit of movement through the characters so they don't look too uniform in their color. So it gives it a more, I found it gives it a more organic look, because light will do all kinds of funny things. So what's kind of interesting is it's quite light, actually. Give yourself a budget of $150. Dang, man. That's not even shoestring. That's just like threads you pulled off of your shirt budget. I can relate. Okay. That I'm gonna actually. You're not gonna touch the. Not gonna smoke. That smoke will be well, you know, I will touch it with the, I'll give it a dark pass from the top. And actually, you know what, it makes a little bit of sense to do this, not too much though, and we'll re-emphasize that. So now, okay, let me go and do the background real quick. So take the background and go for darks. This is the one that might. Oh, whoops. Interesting. Oh wait, no, we don't want the here. So BG lights. VG darks. Oh my gosh, I'm so looking forward to having this done though. It's gonna be a tremendous weight off my shoulders for sure. Oh, I know what. I need a little bit more opacity. There we go. Oh, and of course, pin light, kind of lighten it up. Because our goal with this isn't we don't want this to be super dark, because we'll put in like the really dark stuff later. This is just to kind of push it into the more the realm that we want. And a big key of that is a big key to the style is maintaining the color. I don't want it to get desaturated as it goes along. Oh, I was jumping off the deep end. Hey, that's how you learn though, man. Doggone, I gotta get the combined chat set up so that everybody knows what's going on. It's been being annoying though. Okay. Okay, this is gonna get interesting. So one thing that's a little bit unfortunate is that this line actually isn't real in terms of its connection to the border. It is part of the line work, and the reason that's an issue is because let's say I want to select the panel, like all the panels, like, oh, I just select it, right? Wrong, there's a huge gap right here. So what that means is that I have to basically kind of just settle for selecting in context, which isn't the best, but I'll make it work. Let's go ahead and do color here, darks. Oh shoot. Go on. Oh, so oh, and then okay. So now there. Okay. So there's that, and then now we do the background here. And we're gonna need to grab it in context to everything else. Oh, why did you do that? Oh. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do the same thing. Give a little bit of space. And this is one thing that's really nice about this technique is even very plain surfaces and areas can look a lot more interesting. I believe I did this for. Let me consult this. We have the border there. Yes. So we have the lights. Actually, did I? Actually didn't. Oh, that's funny. The only time I used the ambient light was for here, but that's okay. That works. It's a balancing act. I might actually be inclined to do the same, though. Give it a little movement here. Give it a little bit of movement here on the darks. Oops. And then call it there. Okay, so now now what I need to do is actually need to select everything here and then deselect from oh shoot. Turn that off. Deselect from everything in context, including that, do that, do that, do that, do that. Whoops. Do that. Because I only want everything outside of these panels to be selected. And these don't matter because the line work will go over, so I don't have to worry too much about that, which is nice. That being said, I do need to deselect the background. So, wait. Or maybe not. I think I got it. Okay. So now, darks. You know, and I'm actually going to take this time to really quickly create an area selection. So this is the other really nice trick. So now what I've done is I've just placed down yellow, as you can see. And what this will allow me to do is really quickly go over here and just select that, because that'll be really handy. So I'll be able to use that. Now, speaking of which, let's go back to darks. Oh, we need to turn them on. And that, and then actually we're gonna go ahead and push you back a touch. Give it a bit more shape. Now, okay, so that's done. I need to do, okay, so now the darks and the lights up here. Darks. Select the flat here. Are we? Yeah. Okay. correct, I believe. Okay. So, darks. Okay, so that's done there. Okay, so now here's where the kind of interesting part comes in. Is now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the shadow layer, and I'm actually tempted. It's actually, I can't do that. I'll have to just duplicate it. So let's go back over here. And so the shadow, the way that I did the shadows was, I had just a big old block of light just taken out. So let's grab that. And what we're going to do is we're going to just throw that down. And we're going to do hard light. So hard light gives us a little bit more of that lighting through it. But it puts everything into shadows. So we're going to copy, we're going to call this shadows. And I like to put the shadows between the darks and the lights. I like the lights to sit on top of the shadows because that's how light works. But the shadows to sit on the darks. It just kind of pushes the color more. And oops, we're going to just copy that. So shadows copy, and we can call this BG shadows. Okay, so there you go. So now, okay, so now we're in the dark, right? We're actually, I'm gonna put that on full script. Yeah. Okay. So we're back in the dark, right? But we still have just a little bit of that hint of ambient light. So they're not in a fully dark room, otherwise it would be pitch black because there's no light getting in there. And now what we can do is we can now start to kind of build our second light source here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go up here. We're going to create a new, and we're going to actually start, we'll call it flare. What did I call it? So we have the flare, we have the glow, is here, we have flare. So the flare is just the color, right? Just the color. Flare, we go here. And what we're gonna want to do, okay, so we have the smoke that we're kind of dealing with as well. We're actually gonna replace the color of that smoke with that red. There we go, there. Actually, I need to see something. So, yeah, so, and of course the smoke and the light and everything like that, we actually are gonna, hold on. Oh, that's background. Whoops. Kind of an annoying thing. Okay, so we're gonna do that, and we can always add it back in here. So now we have the flare. And now what we want is we want the glow. The glow is going to be add glow. Add glow is, oops, that's overlay. Add glow is very nice for getting that kind of glow effect because it gives a nice rim light effect. Actually, okay. So let's go ahead and I'll show you. And actually we're gonna like kind of push it out a bit because we want it to feel, we don't want it to be perfect because it's dealing with passing through the smoke and everything like that. So we want to give it that kind of dissipation. We want it to feel like it's being kind of altered by that smoke and everything like that. Diffused is the actual word for it. Okay. So now we have our idea of where the light is, and then there's one more. There's the beam. That's right. The beam is actually this. This is the beam. We don't have to worry about the beam now. Maybe down here I'll consider adding the beam, but it might be distracting. We'll see. So now, okay, now we can be like, oh, we have a new light source, and we can go back down here. We have lights already. And we can add another layer, and we can say, okay, I want a new lights. So lights 2. And we can say add glow. And now we just kind of, we layer it back up. So let's go flats. And let's do, oops. This. And we want it pretty dang bright because he's right next to it, right? She, on the other hand, is a little bit of a ways away, so she's not going to get as much. And then this guy. Well, he's going to get it pretty good. And over here as well. So flare's still off screen. 2. And again, you want to think of light as being these layers, I find. And so that's why I'm putting this over it. Because if I put this under it, well, it doesn't seem to make much difference. But it's good to do that just so you know kind of the order of operation. We have a new light that's sitting over the ambient light. That's how I like to think about it. Sometimes it can affect it depending on how you do like overlays and stuff like that. So it's good to organize it that way, in my opinion. All right, now I haven't done the ambient occlusion yet. I'll get to that here once I figure out where the shadows actually lie. Because now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through and we're going to start to peel away the shadow. So light's sitting here, and so I'm thinking of it, it's projecting light out everywhere. So it's going across the helmet. Truth be told, it's probably getting under it quite a bit as well. But we'll start with the top here. Delete that. Let's go ahead and peel it away from the shoulder. And another thing to think about is, okay, it's 3D, right? So where is he holding it in 3D space? He's holding it in front of him. So what that means actually is it's actually getting more up in here than you would think. And actually it's going to be more of a rim shadow than you would actually at first expect. And so I'm going to do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm actually gonna that, and then this is in shadow because it's golden, and then that. Okay. And then up here, it's also getting under here a lot more than you would think. And then so delete that. So now there you go. Okay, so this is our kind of it's a good start here. So what we now want to do is we're actually going to go back and we want to patch this up. And this is where the real dynamicism of the light comes into play. These shadows are what will really sell the drama, because every panel should have drama. Every panel should be pushing. It shouldn't be passive. It shouldn't be stagnant, filling up the page, as it were. Or even an even worse offense within comics. Actually, I'm going to do something. But just providing space to put more words. That's one of the worst things you can do with a comic. Even if it's a comic that has a lot of words, that's not necessarily the problem, right? It's when you're ignoring the artistry because words will do. It's like, no, go write a book if you're doing that. You're telling a story through a visual medium. And yes, that is hard. It's very hard. But, oh, oops. If it wasn't, why in the world would we be doing it? Everyone would be doing it. I'm actually going to invert this. I'm going to free this up because this would be receiving more light. And I'm going to put it against the neck here. Look at the neck is casting a shadow. But the rest of this will be all free of that. So it would be receiving a lot of that light. And then equal. Go up here. I'm gonna just back it a ways a bit. And this needs to be repaired. Let's say this. Okay. So now, let's actually go ahead and let's consider for a second. Hold on, because we probably will. Let's do that, I suppose. It's gonna just take all of that off, with the exception of that. And then let's go ahead and that's odd that I'm not sure entirely what's going on there. I'll have to I believe I may have missed a spot. Let's try this. There we go. Yeah. Oh wait. What? Is it light 2? Yes. Hold on. Let's try that. Okay, so now, yeah, we kind of got a little screwy around here. Wish I had a better way of doing this. I always hate it when I have to match a gradient like that. It's kind of annoying. Okay, so I already made the script and storyboard. Nice. Yeah, sometimes you get into those spots where it's kind of a hurry up and wait kind of situation. It can always be like annoying because you want to get started. It's good that you have the script done in the storyboards though. But getting like the more you plan, the better. sure. Success within animation is all about how well can you actually plan it out. I'm gonna try that. Certainly, yeah. I find that it's not too bad, though, if you can get... Actually, speaking of which, I just realized I did this wrong. I think that would be light 2, or is that light 1? What is that? Or is that the shadow? Oh, that's the shadow. Okay. Well, that's fine. Because I actually want to just get rid of that. Just that whole thing. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe just right across the back here. Just a shape. Let's just see what happens when we do this. Oops. Nah, too bright. All right. I think that's fine. It gives the effect what we're going for. Okay, so he's done. And that's, I mean, ultimately, you know, there's a lot going on, but that's realistically how simple it is, you know. It doesn't take a million years to get a good effect. It's all about your understanding of light. It's all about thinking of light not as line, not as on the edge, right? Light should enter the space, should enter the volume. So that's why a little bit ago when I was talking about oh, I need to be thinking of the light in 3D space. I'm literally looking at this and going, okay, he's holding it in front of him, so that means that the light is going to come, is going to shine on him, the front of him, right? Because that's where it's present. It's not just going to be the rim. That's one of the biggest things I see when people really start getting into light, that they'll do is they'll think of light as being this thing that's kind of stuck on the edge, right? I used to be like that as well. But you don't want to think about it like that. You want to be able to think about things in 3D space. Okay. So now, her. So what we're gonna do. We're gonna do mostly the same thing. But we're gonna deselect the leg because I want to have more control over that. I may just okay. I may even actually have a cast shadow. I'm gonna put a light on the ground as well, just so there's more presence there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and clean this up. And I want to be able to have this come out. It's not pressed right up against the road. And now this, the inside of this, I'm gonna say this entire thing is in shadow, including the pants. That's what I'm gonna do. Do I wanna? Nah. Kind of getting Luke Skywalker vibes. Well, I mean, if you look at a lightsaber, I mean, that's, yeah, what's up, Amy? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. If you look at how a lightsaber looks, you know, that was funny enough. Lightsabers were the things that actually helped me understand like bright light, right? Things like neon lights and everything like that. And I realized that it's like, oh, you can make light, like even if it's like a blue lightsaber or whatever. That color is actually the on the fringe, because the center is so bright that it's saturated out to white, right? Or desaturated out to white, right? And that's another really important thing when it comes to light. If you want a very bright light, you don't want to stay on the right side of the right side of the color wheel, or the color square. I prefer the color square. You've probably thought of it, but what was I saying? You actually want to, yeah, you want to bring it desaturated. Light, more light means more desaturation. You're a big fan of what there, Amy? Meant the outfit. Yeah, fair. Well, I do like the costuming in the original Star Wars. I like the very, like, just grounded kind of look of it, right? Like, I mean, he wears like a poncho and stuff like that. It's just out in this desert. Yeah. I think that's really cool. I think that's something that I'm really not a fan of, just in general with movies nowadays, is they feel like they're trying too hard with the costumes a lot of times. It feels very, like, I don't know, like it's too much designed by an artist, if that makes sense. Which I know that's ironic coming from an artist, but I do think it's possible to start to turn things into an indulgence of design, I would call it, rather than an actual, like, kind of breathing design. Proceeds to look down the barrel, yeah. Referencing the that scene when, yeah, Luke gets the lightsaber, he's like, looks straight at it, yeah. What does this do? How do I want to? Technically, it'd be the other side. Hold on. Hold on. Honestly, I could just leave it at that. Maybe just a little bit of an edge here. Let's try. Good. Yeah, we'll go with that. That should be good enough here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do this. Oh wow, that really does brighten up the face. But that makes sense because the light would be bouncing against that. It's maybe a bit bright, but I actually like the effect on her eyes, so I'm gonna keep it. Do I still use that email? I don't. That's not the best one to get in contact with me. I should have contact information down below, though, so I would recommend that. Or, you know, social media or something like that. Good way to get in contact. So there's ways to get in contact with me. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend that avenue. It certainly won't last forever, that's for sure. Okay, so that's some more Lorne. Let's do Mason Olar. No, start for contact. Yeah. Well, like I said, just even just like social media and stuff like that. It's a good way. Okay. And then I will. Yes. And this will actually, you know, we'll keep it. All right, catch you later there, Breath. I really do appreciate you stopping by. Okay. Okay, so now, we can remake the flare here. Okay, so we're gonna do color. And we are actually going to and I had to screw it up, and unfortunately, well, maybe I can salvage this. Oh, come on. Oh, doggone it. It gets itself into this goofy mode, man. Man. This tool is the bane of my existence, I swear. It is so, like, such a hazard, man. Okay. So, but we did get it, so I think more or less. I'm actually gonna make this flat first. Now I can take you. No, that's fine. Okay, so that'll do. There we go. Yeah. Now, we go to the flare. Actually, I don't need to worry about the flare, do I? Or do I? This is the flare. Flare is actually the light. Flare here is nothing. Okay, so that's fine then. Doesn't really super matter. As long as I can get it bright enough at the epicenter there. That now oh, how long have we been going? It's an hour 17. All right. Okay. So now, again, okay, so we're thinking about the light 2. We want this really bright. Again. You, not quite as bright, but certainly still bathe in that red light. And now we have a kind of an interesting scenario here where we have this. So we're actually going to take this and we're going to Oops, that was wrong. We don't want that right. Oops, that's go with that for now. Might texture that a touch. No. Work for now. And then so now we need to do the shadows again. Sure, easy enough. This one's up and forward, so we're gonna really take a lot off here. We're gonna take a bit off the front, and then not as much. Oops, I forgot to match that. Okay. And basically all off the hand. And then we can deselect this because we don't want to do that yet. That. So we'll need to do some matching here. Tempted to erase the lines. Let's see. For you, it's kind of a simple. Maybe a little bit more of a. Okay. Now, we still have a bit to do for sure, but that's done. It's more or less done. So now, let's go ahead. Oh, one more thing actually. Let's go to the shadows here, and let's go ahead and take those out of the picture. I like it with the shadows more. Maybe a little more subtle. more so up top, where the light's really hitting. Do that. Okay, so now, now, back down here, we're actually going to and this sits, where does it sit? Here, above the shadow. Okay. Here. What is this? Lights 2. I am going to make it lights 2 as well. And we're gonna do add glow. Yes, yes it is. Add glow is one of my favorites. It's just nice having something that so eloquently pushes towards white versus pushes towards black or really heavily saturated. Because typically, when you paint and such, at least in traditional mediums, everything kind of gets darker and darker and darker, right? The more color you add. Technically speaking, digital painting is different in that RGB, everything goes towards the white, right? The more light you add, the more saturated it becomes. So you'll see, like, if you want in like RGB color scales, 255, 255, 255 is white, right? It's the combination of all the colors that produces the brightest value. So, but that being said, digital programs are getting better and better at actually working off of a more natural model, which is great because it is nice to be able to work with mixing color in a more natural way. It just works better than having to deal with the way digital color naturally works, because in a traditional digital color kind of model, the more, obviously, if it's getting brighter, it's getting more desaturated, right? And so everything kind of leans more towards gray rather than actually saturating. This doesn't happen as much in like traditional painting oil and such. You mix green and blue, it maintains its saturation for the most part. It might lose a little bit, but nowhere near as much as digital. So that's why it was really nice when a version of CSP came out that it was like, oh, hey, by the way, we have a much more natural color mixing system now that operates a lot more in line with traditional color methods. It's like, yes, finally, thank goodness. Okay, so I need to grab you. And we're gonna just throw you down. Half circle. And we're actually gonna, because again, this is a corner, and corners mean dark. Corners don't take in as much light. So we want that to be reflected. Let me other thing. The reason he's holding it up. Oh. All right. So, and that's why I had that yellow. That's why I put that yellow there, so I could do this very easily. Oh, come on, stop. Stop being weird. I'm actually going to really push this out and lay down a lot of paint because I want you to kind of get a sense for the highlight. Even though this isn't entirely how a flare would act. It wouldn't reach this far. This would be more like a flashlight, but that's okay. Whole point is to highlight what's being shown. So now that we have kind of our structure, we're actually going to start pulling it back in as well now, focusing it, because we want to. Mind the really loud cars. Leave this running? Okay. Yeah, we're not terribly close to the end here. Yeah, there's still a bit more to do. Let's just see what happens if we for the fun of it, decide to kind of branch away the shadows. Yeah, I do quite like that, actually. Although we will do that. Very dramatic, very nice. All right, and then actually, let's not interrupt anything else. Select that, and now we are going to see about this a bit more shape. It's all about shape. Shape is the key. We want it to reflect the surface, how the surface sits. Okay, so now, there we go, that. Okay, so now, what we want to do, we want to select you, we want to select you, and what we want to do is we want to create a border. We already have an example of a border, so you'll notice as it gets up, it goes darker, darker, darker. That's my border. That border is very nice because that's how light works, as it dissipates as it goes up. The lower levels have this light beam coming in, the ambient light reflects up, but then it loses energy as it tries to get higher, right? Can't quite, it'll bounce like this, it'll bounce like that, it'll bounce all over the place, but it has a hard time bouncing straight up. Actually, I don't need to copy. So linear light is the border, and we want the border on top of the shadow. Actually, we want it on top of everything, truth be told. Yeah, it's over everything, so let's go ahead and I use a sort of, oops, actually that's not what we want. I use an inverted circular gradient, which you can't really see. But basically the idea is, you'll notice, there we go, that the edges, so typically with a circular gradient, you have it expanding out. This is the border coming in. So that's all it is. I'm actually going to set it really low. Oh, why is it normal? There we go. And now what we can do is we can actually just go back and edit the rest of this. Let that just almost black. Almost black. Maybe just a little on the edges as well. So really Sullivan yet. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm actually pretty dang happy with that. I am going to that work. I'm gonna do a linear set of this just to give us a little bit more shape. How did I? Whatever. And now it's complaining about all that. Okay, actually, I need just the back. Oh, hold on. I'm actually going to do a second border below here. Border 2, because I don't want it interacting with this light. I want to preserve the light. So linear light. And that's too much. Okay, I think this page is done, actually. Oh, cast shadows. Okay, last thing, cast shadows. So you noticed there's some cast shadows within the light, because that's how light works. And cast shadows are right here. It's linear light, and I used this color apparently. Okay. And I put that above the light. That has to go above the light, so it's gonna go right here. Cast shadows. Again, I'm gonna do. The nice thing is for over here, at least, I can have it dissipate because it's right on the edge. So let me go ahead and do that here. There we go. So there's that, and then over here, this one's going to be a bit more prominent. Oops. Stop complaining. All right, so let's go ahead now and put this to be pushed back in because it's very much on the edge of the light. All of this sort of blended out. Oops, come on. Yes, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. The last page will be really easy. It'll probably be done by tomorrow, but I don't feel like working on it right now. I had a full day, and I'm quite tired. So, we're gonna call this here. But I really do like how this came out. Just kind of almost the violence of the light against the wall and such. I think maybe like a nice subtle stone texture will really help. But yeah, so I'm gonna call it here. I will be back on Thursday. But on Thursday, I am actually gonna switch over to doing some background design. I'm gonna keep doing the room design that I was working on a little while back, because hopefully the comic should be done, this set of pages. And then it's going to be a matter of a few days before I get the lettering done, and then I'll handle release and stuff like that. I might change up how I do release. It might be a little bit interesting to get to the release because my website's in a little bit of a strange state, so I might actually push it out on my Ko-Fi and do kind of like a you know, early access kind of thing. Test that out and see how that goes. But regardless, we're really close to the end. I'm very happy to finally have these pages done. These were very challenging pages. They ended up being very challenging pages in a lot of ways. So hopefully the next batch isn't quite as... I do have a Ko-Fi, actually. There should be a link to it down below. Let me know if it's not there in the description. Yeah, I'll definitely post it around the usual places and try to kind of semi-promote it. I might even start selling the chapters I have digitally on there. Like you can buy and have like the images and stuff like that, if you'd like, because that would really help. And it'd be great to make an exchange like that. I will say I am pretty committed to having this available publicly, like eventually, right? So if that's not your cup of tea, then it's just a matter of waiting. It will be available, so there's that. But regardless, I'm gonna go. I don't know, I might eat something. I'm not terribly hungry, but I haven't had a ton. A little bit of lunch, but yeah, thanks for stopping by, everyone who did it. It was really great. It's been great. Like, thank you for joining me and like working on this comic, because like honestly, it's been really nice. It's been great having people to stop by and hang out and say hello, and just really helps me like stay motivated and stuff like that, because there's times when, man, this project really like it's tough, you know. But we're making progress. We're making a lot of progress. So with all that being said, I will see you on Thursday, hopefully. And yeah, we're going to be working on something new. I am going to be taking a break from the comics, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Doing some animating, which I've been missing. All right, have a good one. Take care, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye.